For many people, making provision for their cat or dog or other pet after their death is one of the most important considerations when they're making their will. However, it's not quite as easy as it first appears. This is because an animal doesn't have a legal personality and so can't be the recipient of a gift. Obviously, the most important point is to consider who would be able to look after your animal, and that in itself is simple. A pet is treated as a personal belonging and so can be given to somebody after your death. So if I think my friend would do well looking after my animal, then I can put a clause in my will to give my animal to my friend. But it's slightly tricky when you think about how to fund that. We have a handy table where we can calculate how much it would cost roughly for any type of animal to be provided for after your death. You need to look at the animal's life expectancy and to have a rough idea of how much it costs per year to look after a cat or a dog or another animal. So cats and dogs are generally about between £1,000 to £1,500 a year. A tortoise, for example, would be less, but then a tortoise has a much longer life expectancy, and so you'd be multiplying it by more. The easiest way to deal with this is to give your friend or whoever's looking after your animal an equivalent sum of money. So you calculate how much you think is going to be needed to maintain the animal for the rest of its life, and you give that sum of money to your friend along with the animal. That's fine so long as you wholly trust your friend. There is, however, nothing stopping your friend receiving the animal after your death, receiving a nice big sum of money to go with it, and then taking poor Puss down the vet, having poor Puss put down, and going on holiday with the money that you've given them. If you've drafted your will like that, there is nothing to stop them. On the other end of the scale, you can go for the whole realm of legal complexity and put a trust in place. English law doesn't generally allow for trusts for purposes rather than for people, but there is an exception for looking after an animal. So you could establish a trust of your money with trustees in place to make sure that the animal is maintained. This does have to be limited to 21 years. We tend to find that most of our clients like to go with a sort of compromise position. They don't want the whole complexity of a trust, but they do want some sort of comfort that the animal is going to be looked after. We tend to therefore put it to link the gift to an undertaking from the friend or a carer of the animal that they intend to look after the animal for the rest of its natural life and to act in its best interests, and that they're going to use that money for that purpose. So don't be put off if you have an animal and you want to make provision for it, but don't think it's entirely simple either. There are things that can be talked through, and we can make sure that you get absolutely whatever you need in place in your will, so that you can be comforted that your animal will be properly looked after your death.